Hello, I am Nova SC, and I'm going to bring you a random game out of the games which I've particularly liked from today's gaming, apart from... So that's not particularly random, but you know, it's slightly random. Anyway, it is a Protoss versus Protoss, I believe, yes, and it is between me, obviously, but I'm over here. Hello, you've already seen me, and I'm against Lavova. Lavova? That doesn't... It's probably something disgusting, actually. It sounds a bit like lava, which is usually not a good sign. But anyway, no one likes names. Let's see what's going down. So, obvious pylon. I do like to point out the pylon that both players have built a pylon. I'm sure that's in the caster's rulebook of bad things to do to begin a game, to begin commentating a game. Never commentate the pylon. But the gateway, that's fair game, both on 13, so nothing too cheesy. It doesn't look like either player's going to go in for a 4 gate if we've both done it on 13. And that's quite an early guess. So that's even earlier than my guess, in fact, unless he's not going for 2. This is the old style of 14, of gas of 14, which I haven't seen for ages, actually. For a couple months I haven't seen the 14, then 18. But that's because I haven't been really watching the replays that much, I guess. So I got my double gas on 15. He's checking around just for proxies. I should be doing the same, except mine's a bit later. I guess I'm doing it after this pylon. Sorry, I'm a bit ill, but I'm gonna commentate anyway, because what else am I gonna do in the period of an hour before I have food? So, yes, this is quite late gas. So it's nothing too techy, but nothing too aggressive because of this 13 gateway. So this could be quite interesting. I have no idea what he's going to be planning here, because let's think about what I actually saw. Try and remember what I actually saw from my opponent in this game. Oh yes, I remember. But I'm not going to spoil it. I remember. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I completely forgotten the game for a second, but now I remember. Right, so he's going for 2 gateways. Okay, so this is going to be... I would have thought Stalker aggression. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. That's good. And where's his pylons, actually? He's got one... Okay, right. So okay, he gets quite a late pylon. Don't know how he can do that. I guess that's because he skipped... He doesn't have a mothership core there. He hasn't queued up a mothership core. Interesting. Wonder why he has made less units than me. Interesting. Okay. Maybe that was a mistake for getting that pylon so late. I have no idea. Or maybe the pylon's late when you get the second gateway. Yes, I remember, because I used to do this style years ago. Year and a half ago, so not years, technically. Knocking down the rocks because the rocks are a serious threat. Robo, just standard. I haven't really reacted to anything here. In fact, I haven't really scouted my opponent at all. If I have a look, no vision, and I haven't scouted my opponent, whereas he has quite well. I haven't scouted him because I'm going Robo, and in theory, Robo should hold everything. Whereas he hasn't got an early Robo, so he does need to scout. Does need to scout for an extremely fast Twilight Council and stuff like that. Because he needs to... If I had rushed for a Twilight Council, just done all that rush, then TTs can come out, I think, 620 is the earliest, something like that. It might have changed since the price on the DC shrines changed, but in Wings of Liberty the earliest possible time was 620. Okay, so here's the 3 Stalkers coming down. And I think he's just using these to scout a bit more. He didn't know about this gateway, I think he didn't know about this Nexus. I might just be stupid, but I'm sure I thought he didn't know about the Nexus, so that's helpful for him. And he might also try and snipe a sentry or 2, which he's actually going to try, which doesn't seem like a good idea. Yeah, he uses the Stalker for absolutely nothing. So that's the only units that have been lost. So he's slightly behind at this moment, but we are pretty much even in supply. And now he's going for a Stargate. He's revealed his tech choice. He's going for a fairly late Oracle. But he's done it after expansion, so this doesn't have to do as much damage as if he'd done it before expansion, so I much prefer going for a expansion before any sort of decisive tech like this. So I like what he's doing. Twilight Council coming down for me, and this is another sort of default thing. All I've seen, oh, I have scattered with hallucination, so I do know it's a Stargate, but I'd probably go for Twilight Council anyway, because I just think it's a very useful thing to have against all plays. Any tech choice from your opponent, it has some sort of use. So charge very good against immortals, blink very good against, or upper blink, any sort of airplay, any sort of all-inish airplay, and other sort of airplay I just go straight for Archons, as you can see here. The problem with getting blink early is though the blink's very good against the air units, but it's not as helpful against immortals and Archons. So just like going straight for the Archons because they're helpful against the air units in a straight up engagement, and the feedback's very good against Phoenix and Oracles, especially good against Oracles because Oracles just can't attack at all. It completely immobilizes them when you hit a feedback on them. Getting a cannon, being very cautious here, one per base, so it stops the Oracle from just being able to just park itself over my base and have free reign over just every probe, just annihilating every probe it sees. Nice feedback there, wow, that was a good one. Just one-shotting that Oracle, with help from the sentries and stalkers of course. So it wasn't really a one-shot, it was we can buy the sentry and stalkers, then one-shot with the Phoenix. I mean the feedback. Words, they are a mystery to me. So getting this one observer outside my base, and it's just there so that I can see incoming attacks, so that I can prepare. So if I see air units coming in from here, if I see 5 Phoenix coming in, and I see nothing here, I can send my whole army to help deal with the Phoenix. But if I see a small army here, I'm going to want to split my army off, so that's a very helpful observer to have. More helpful than having it outside my opponent's base, because I may be able to see an army leaving, but it could arrive at any angle. Well, especially if it's an air unit, of course. Void Rays here. I'm never a fan of this many Void Rays, well, of Void Rays in this fashion anymore. At the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, I was very much into the Immortal Void Ray. In fact, I used to go for 2 Stargates at a point. But now that Storm has become more accepted in the matchup, Void Rays have become weaker and weaker, I find. Because though 250 seems like quite a lot, that's fairly flimsy compared to the 300, the 160. Well, for such a considering that's the smallest unit, the Stalker in this composition, 160 quite a lot. So it makes 250 look quite small for a damage dealing unit. He's going for his third. It's going to be significantly later than me, at least 100 seconds. Upgrade's looking fairly good for me because I'm upgrading to 1-1, whereas my opponent's already finished his first upgrade, but he's only upgrading one at a time. Though, to be fair, he's going to have his +2 before me, so though in the long term I'm going to have an advantage, he's going to have a timing window. He's going to have +2 and +3 earlier than mine, so he might try and exploit those timings. Got some gateways coming in here. He's up to 6, so that's just like the minimum you want for 3 bases. I'm doing the same sort of thing, 6 at the moment, and now this is finished I'm adding on another 4, so I'm up to 10. When you see gateway counts this high in Persis versus Protoss, you know your opponent's going to be relying on a gateway. He's either going to be relying solely on gateway units and immortals to back them up, or he's going to be going for big zealot counterattacks with water prisms. And I want to do both of those things, so that's why I'm going up to 10 gateways right now. I'm upgrading 1-1 still. Probably should be chrono boosting that more, to be fair. Going for a dark shrine, that's always useful tech to have because it produces more cost efficient archons on the gas side. Because gas is usually the deciding factor in HotS versus Protoss, the army with the most gas in it usually wins. That's why you often see people wasting huge amounts of minerals on zealot counterattacks, just throwing them at a base, not caring if they do much damage, because the minerals aren't nearly as important as the gas, and you really want to be killing off the simulators and bases to stop, to delay your opponent's gas income. My army should be a bit bigger than mine, because my army's actually, oh, smaller. I swear it was bigger at this point, but I have more gas in it, invested in it. So as you can see, especially with these storms going down, as you can see, the gas makes a really big difference, aided by the planetary nexus, of course. And that wasn't nice. A lot of the units back here didn't join in. I can't remember. I think I was confused in the game. I think I remember being quite annoyed by those units because I'm pretty sure I added them to the hotkey and A-clicked and they just stood there. So I must have misclicked like several times. Oh dear. So yeah, the observer I had up here I've moved to here because that's a very useful area to have vision over, because you can see which direction the army's moving here. This area here, as you can see on the map, most of the paths converge here, so that's just useful information. So is having an observer here quite useful, but I don't have the observers just yet. My robo is occupied producing immortals and warp prisms. So I really want to start the counter-attacking, the multi-pronged attacks quite soon, and the counter-attacks. Once your opponent's on 3 bases, they're fairly spread out, and you can start doing a lot of damage. Bit of a failed recall there, that was really bad. Really bad. Oh dear god, that's awful. Does he have blink? He doesn't have blink, he doesn't have charge, so he's not going to be able to catch up this Archon at least. Wow, that's pretty sick actually. I pulled the Archon back so that they'd attack the Archon instead of the Immortals, and then the Archon ran away as well. Wow, I didn't notice that in the game. I just sent the Archon back and then commanded them home. I thought I'd lose most of them, and I was just hoping for maybe one Immortal to survive. Wow, that was awesome. Units lost? I want to see the units lost. Units. L. Yeah, I'm quite a bit ahead as well. Units. Exactly even on economy. So we're fairly even actually. That engagement went awfully for me, because he killed off the mothership core when I was recalling. So not only did I lose that mothership core for free, most of my army just stopped attacking for a few seconds while they were recalling, so that didn't go well. My warp prism's coming in now. I'm trying to. I think I must have queued up that command. The idea is that yeah, that's annoying. The idea is that you put your army between 2 of your opponent's bases, and then you warp in zealots up here, so he has to send part of his army back, and then you can attack either of these bases with your army, and then snipe one of them, because your opponent's army is not going to be big enough to take on your whole army, even if you've invested some of your resources in zealots, because as I said, the gas is the most important part of the army in PvP. So I'm up to 4 bases, and I should be ahead in units at this point. Yeah, I've taken a bit of a lead, and my economy should be higher because I'm running off more bases. Yes, so this vital gas economy is higher for me, and I'm even moving into a 5th to add insult to injury. There's a base coming for my opponent, but I don't think I know about that. I don't know about that. And here comes the counter-attacking. Here comes the attacks. So I'm warping in some big amounts of zealots here, taking out some gateways. Just anything I can lay my hands on, I'm just going to destroy, because I just want him to pull his army back as much as possible. And I don't know why his army's clumped up like this. I think he might have done a recall, and the storms are doing huge damage to all those units. But I didn't have quite enough to hold off all the stalkers and zealots. So I'm going to have to retreat, and this isn't going well for me. I was able to kill off that weakened void race, so that's not too bad. Making the best of a bad situation. So that's really bad for me, because I've lost this all that army and that supply, and I think I'm behind? I'm interestingly still ahead in supply, even though I lost that army. And while that was going on, that counter-attack is doing a hell of a lot of damage. So, wow, and what's this guy doing? I can't remember that either. Okay, just a DT just rolling around. I probably could have had him snipe a couple things, but never mind. And, okay, so I'm still ahead in bases. Interested in the units lost now. And he's evened it up a little bit, because of that terrible engagement I made there. I forced that engagement a bit too much. I didn't really need to engage. I could have just gone in, seen that his army there, maybe his army was there, maybe dropped a couple storms because the army was clumped up, and just let these zealots and the DT do all their damage, because if I'd have just gone away before I lost that army that was here, I could have just done almost as much damage and still had an army at the end of it. And now I'm going to counter-attack, and they're just coming from this base. Probably thinks I've got a proxy pylon on. He doesn't know about the base, does he? No. He probably thinks I've just got a proxy pylon up there, but in fact I'm just warping it in from a fully mining base. Well, one probe on minerals, fully mining, lol. Okay. So now I've incorporated Colossus into my mix. And when armies reach a certain size, and Colossus can be cost effective, when they're in the small to medium numbers, Immortal Archon is going to be more effective, because they're so much beefy. For their cost, they're a lot more beefy than the Colossus are. Just got a couple of storms in there, very, very useful. Constant counterattacks, pulling my opponent back, and yes, another Warp Prism moving into position. And I really like this play, forcing my opponent to come to me, and then storming the path that leads towards me. And this choke here makes the storms even more effective. Archon's proving very effective against the Void Rays, and his Zealots proving very effective against my Immortals, and with that, that is game. And these Zealots have finally finished off this 4th base, and I'm on 5 full running bases, and I believe I have the upgrade lead. 3-1-2? 3-1-2? Yeah, you've got a slight upgrade lead in the armor department. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that game. I picked this one out because I usually don't, the counter-attacking and the warp-ins don't usually get off the ground as well as this, and it highlights how you really don't want to be forcing these engagements when you can just retreat and have some guaranteed damage from the harassment. So yes, hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you later. Hopefully some more cool games like this soon. Goodbye.